Well, good morning. I am feeling some better, and thank you for all your well wishes. I'm not out of the woods 100%, but much, much better. Listen, this is 7 last things that really need to be said before the meeting takes place this afternoon. So I hope you enjoy this. If you do, shoot me a like later in the program. And if you missed any of yesterday's 3 videos, all 3 of them are actually more important than what I'm going to say now. So go back and see those. I'll put them in the information below. I'll put links so that you can go back and take a look. Those 3 were, I think, what really is going to be driving today's information, the stock market, whatever. But these 7 are not unimportant, believe me. They are all potentially huge, just don't raise to the same level as the ones from yesterday. Anyway, let me jump right into these. So number 1, I hesitated to even put this in yesterday, a 4680 update. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? And what we need in order to move the market and to move my heart would be that we're getting close to the first line actually being fully ramped up. It's taking a long time. Some people say, hey, these battery lines take a long time to ramp. I'd like to see a really big update on that. It's critical. It's right in the absolute wheelhouse of what's being talked about today. Batteries are at the core. So it'd be wonderful to hear an update, and wonderful if that was a surprise on the upside, getting close to fully ramping the first line. And if that happens, I think there's a chance that could move the market. Not a ton, because number 2, the market just doesn't care right now. Okay, it just doesn't care. Look at all the amazing news that's come out just in the last few days. Ford said that they're way behind Tesla. Toyota said, oh my gosh, we finally looked inside of a Model Y. We tore it down and we looked at it, and guess what? We're just so far behind, we can't believe it. We're going to change everything we're doing because we're so far behind. You've got the announcement with Mexico. I guess it's 100% confirmed now, since they're going to make some announcement today specifically about it. I mean, news. Those are just a few of the big news items that came out in the last couple of days. The market is going, the stock, Tesla stock is going exactly with the macro. They just don't care. The market just is not responding at all to the good news. So even though there'll be lots of good news today, and some of it may be really obvious and clear in terms of the future of Tesla, it may not move the market that much. It's going to need to be huge. Okay, so then you go on to the next item on my list. There's supposed to be another commercial vehicle announcement. It was not 100% promised. The wording on it was not like, yes, we're going to announce, but it sounded as if the next commercial vehicle would be announced today, along with some of these other announcements. So that could be big. If they announce a van, that would be good for commercial, and maybe even for moving people around as well. That could be a market mover. So what is that commercial vehicle, and will it be announced today? And is it something for the short term? Again, if this is any announcement that's made today, I don't care what it is, that Elon has to say the words, yes, we're shooting for this the end of 2024 or the beginning of 2025. It ain't going to move the market. It might move our hearts and minds and make us enthusiastic about the future, but it isn't going to move the market. That's for sure. Okay, number 4, some kind of response to the poor current sales in Europe and Asia. Now, when I say poor sales, they're not really poor sales. They're increasing, and Tesla's number 1 in so many of these markets. They're just increasing their lead and getting stronger and stronger, but they've got all this manufacturing capacity now, and they need to be able to sell it out. So a response, some kind of response to what's going on there. I've given a response yesterday. It's one of the 3 videos. Take a look at that. But how about a response today from Tesla as to whether or not this is a concern, whether or not they're going to respond to it, et cetera, et cetera. So that'd be a good one. Okay. I think that it's unlikely. See, a lot of these are unlikely. This is unlikely to be part of today because you want to be 100% positive. Now, if they can make a positive statement, no worries at all. We will continue. Every evidence we have is that we will sell out Shanghai and sell out Berlin everything that we can make in those factories this year will be sold. And we're not going to slow down our build inventory. It's going to be sold out at full capacity. Okay, that would be a nice that's the kind of comment I'd like to hear. I'm sure you would too. Okay. Okay, major possible surprises. Here's a quick list. Okay, mining from clay. That'd be great to hear. Talked about it, haven't heard anything about it for a long time, but today would be the kind of day we'd expect to hear about that. Boring machines used in mining. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I think that you can bore into the side of a hill, or you can go down into a flat level area. You go down and you could mine almost like you would farm in rows and back and forth, and then fill it in and then go below. Anyway, I'm not sure. I don't know anything about it, but it just seems like that would be possible, and it might be a lot cheaper than the way things are done now. So that's a possibility. They said boring machine is going to be part of the deal. So how is boring machine going to work out in this conversation? Now, maybe it'll be some kind of boring machine statement that they've got some big contracts, and that these contracts are going to include Tesla cars driving like they are in Vegas. But anyway, that is yet to be seen, but a surprise could come from there. More locations for refining would be a nice surprise. Other mines purchased, that would be a lovely surprise. I think the market would like that one. That was one they could get their heads around. A new material breakthrough. We know sodium is the big talked about item right now, but how many other materials could there be? And maybe this is going to be the SpaceX part of the show. Maybe SpaceX has done a materials breakthrough, since they're huge in their materials understanding. One of the other possibilities from SpaceX would be maybe Starlink is going to start being in all cars. They've come up with some kind of a receiver that could be used in cars that would be smaller and not as obtrusive, and that would be less expensive. Anyway, who knows? I'm just throwing it out here. Okay, those would be some major surprises, and then the major surprise that I can't list because I don't know it is that there's always a major surprise that nobody knows. So, the Optimus was a major surprise one time. So anyway, who knows what there could be that is going to be on top of everything else. Okay, icing on the cake, something I'm not even thinking of, you're not thinking of, that will just blow our minds. Number 6, Cybertruck news. Will it be out earlier than expected? Is it, where are we at are we going to see first outs anytime soon? Or are they going to show us a final? Are they going to give some specs, some pricing, a bunch of stuff like that? I mean, Cybertruck is something that the street is talking about. The street seems to understand that this is a pretty amazing, even though they're always underplaying the total number of back orders or orders that have been placed for this vehicle. It's like, well, it's the most this year, or it's like the most ever. There's never been any automobile with this many orders before it's ever hit the streets. Anyway, yeah, so it'd be lovely to hear more about that. I think the street would respond if there was some really good news with regard to Cybertruck. And then my last one is semi-truck. You know how big I am on semi-truck. Well, the news and the financial people don't seem to be nearly as excited about the semi-truck, even though the goal for next year of doing this, 2024, of doing 50,000 vehicles would be the equivalent of about a half in Austin. The news and the financial news, everybody, they're just kind of yawning about this. And it's like driving me crazy. So I would love to hear from Elon, potentially, how are they going to get to 50,000 in 2024? Give us some meat. Yes, we know you're building a new facility. Yes, we know that that's your goal. How do you get from here to there? That's a lot of vehicles for the first year. For the first year in that new plant. Are they going to build a tent and start building some now? Also, what are the specs, the pricing? We're still all in the dark here. We're having to guess and do all kinds of engineering analysis and be back into it and reverse engineer in order to know what the specs are. And we're guessing totally at the pricing. By the way, having a show on Friday, may not be published on Friday, might be Saturday, where I'm going to be talking to an expert on the truck situation. Okay, so those are my biggies. That's my final say before we go into this meeting. I'm so excited. And I'm so sad to be so sick. Anyway, this is it. We'll be talking to you after. I haven't exactly decided I'm going to play it, but before the day is out, I assure you there will be a video where I will talk about my thoughts. I've talked to several other people about interviews that might happen after the show, probably not tonight, maybe tomorrow, the next day, to get some other folks to kind of dicker back and forth about what took place this afternoon. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, like it, subscribe, do all the good stuff. Join Patreon. Had another new Patreon member yesterday, $10 member. So, but it's only $5 if you want it to be. Again, another major announcement on Friday. Hope you look forward to that. And it seemed like there was one more thing, but oh well. This has been great. I've loved talking to you today.